The narcissist plays mind games with you. You don't even know what the hell is going on. And you find yourself funnily being drawn. Trying to understand this. Psychologically, you know that this isn't okay because your emotions are telling you so. I'm going to talk about how the narcissist psychically bonds you to them. Hello and welcome back. I hope that you're all doing really well. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how the narcissist psychically binds you to them, right? So they use a variety of methods, which means that you then feel bound to them. It's like they have imprisoned you and you can't go. I'm not talking about the trauma bond. That is part of it. But I'm talking about psychic abuse. I'm talking about how they psychically bond you to them. When you are interacting with a narcissist, what you have to understand is that you are not actually talking to an adult. Because when you are in this dynamic with the narcissist, it's like you feel like you are reduced into childlike behaviors. And I'm going to explain that why. The narcissist will use something called reactive abuse. So they will try and pin you down to their level. Now you've got to think of it like this. When you are around someone who is immature, someone who cannot match you cognitively, emotionally, although they pretend that they do, you naturally will go down to that level to be able to communicate, to be able to articulate with that person. Now, I'm not saying that you would have seen this straight away. This is done over time so that you are pinned down to that level. So they use something called reactive abuse, which is part of gaslighting, the control and the manipulation. So they will use emotional weakness against you because they will work out what it is that presses your buttons. And they do this so that they can use this trigger that means so much to you, that is you feel very sensitive about. They will do this so that they can use this trigger against you, so that they can manipulate you and that they can control the outcome. So this is what reactive abuse is. They will make you react in a way that is so far removed from who you actually are, how you think, how you would normally react, because you can't even respond to this situation because you have been, number one, so triggered, and number two, because your emotions are all over the place, you can't contain yourself. You can't think in the way that you normally would. So this is why you don't respond, you react. So this is why this is abusive, because this person has made you behave or respond or react in a way that isn't congruent to you, because you are being manipulated. And it can be things like being told what to think, being told how to behave. And what they're doing is they're breaking you down. They are breaking you down cognitively and emotionally. When someone is saying to you, no, it's not like this, no, that didn't happen, you're constantly being told what to think. Because what you're doing is you're naturally taking on, because you don't want to fight, you don't want there to be this uncomfortable feeling between you both. You just want to get on with this. You want to be happy. You want the other person to be happy. So it's kind of like you also almost take on or believe what they are saying, because they're blaming you. You believe what they are saying so that actually you just want to keep the peace. So when someone is telling you, no, it's not like this, it's this, no, you've got this wrong, what the narcissist is doing is they're deflecting and putting all the blame onto you. So you feel guilty. You feel this guilt because you're thinking, how can this someone who I love, who I respect, is going to say this against me, to be horrible to me? Like, no, maybe there is some truth in it. So then you start believing it. You start feeling guilty and think, okay, so I've got to fix this situation in some way. So then you take on those opinions, and you start thinking in that way. When you're being told, you know, that you're a crazy person, when you're being told it's your fault all the time, you then start to believe that narrative about yourself, and then you kind of embody that and take it on as your own. You start feeling that maybe I am the crazy person. Maybe it's me that has actually caused this. Again, another element of reactive abuse. Because when you are told this narrative, when you start believing this, you then start to behave in that way because these are the beliefs that you hold about yourself because of somebody else telling you that. When a narcissist is in an uncomfortable position, like for example, when you've caught them out in a lie, what they are going to do is deflect. That is the best way of dealing with this. This has been used in many examples, like for example, in communist Eastern Europe. And you see, that's what the narcissist does. They deflect. This is the oldest trick, the oldest psychological trick in the book. What you do is you deflect. You don't ever take responsibility for your actions. You just say, no, but what about you? You're not so perfect yourself. And so what the narcissist starts to do is reframe the narrative, reframe the version of events so that you see it from a different perspective, so that you see it from that perspective, from their perspective, and you start thinking the way that they do. You start believing this narrative and you take it on as your own. When you reframe something, like what the narcissist is doing, they're putting their own ideas, the way that they're thinking, their deflection out there to you, so that you believe what they have done is right. So they'll say things, this really isn't about that. This is about you. This is probably from your past. This is about your father. This is about someone, you know, your ex-partner. This is about your children. This isn't about me. You have reacted like this because of this. So these are all excuses. These are all using your triggers, the most sensitive parts of your life that the narcissist has figured out way early on. And they use that against you so that you are then broken down and you feel like maybe there's some truth in that. You start to take on and believe that narrative. So what this does is this binds you to this reality temporarily, because what they're doing is they are showing you an alternative, something that isn't real. It's not the truth. They are showing you an illusion, something that can make sense, but it's not really the truth. So they're getting you to believe the lie so that actually it benefits the narcissist in some way, because it brings them out on top and you feel like there's something wrong with you, like you have to fix something. You take on the blame. This is ultimately mind games, psychological warfare, okay, that the narcissist is doing. They're using your triggers, your pain, your anguish, your love against you. And the reason why they're doing that is because it's getting an emotional response from you. Whether it's positive or negative, usually negative, it's getting an emotional response from you. So that what they are trying to do is get you to react in an emotional way. This is what they're drawing their supply from. This is what they want. They want you to behave in this way. They want you to react in a way that is going to be beneficial for them. They want you to believe their lie because it means that it gets them off the hook. Whatever they've done, whatever they did, it gets them off the hook. When you're using somebody's triggers and you know it's not true what you're saying, this is abuse. So the way to combat this is to understand that what you are doing is you are not dealing with an adult, all right? You are dealing with someone who is emotionally immature. It doesn't matter what you say because they are not listening. They're not interested in your version of events because you're not going to be able to reason with this person. You're going to be able to communicate your point of view across because they're not listening. They don't care. What they care about is that they come out on top, that there's this competition between you and them. Not that you're in the competition, it's their competition in their mind. They've got to come out on top. Because when they do, they are able to control, manipulate, and get the outcome that they want. And the outcome that they want is for you to react emotionally so that they can draw on that supply. And it's as simple as that. They want an emotional response from you because they want to know that you still care about them, that you still in some way want them. By you reacting is showing them that you care, that you have some emotion towards them. It's an emotional response. It is a human response. That's what they're looking for. Because they can't do that themselves. They are looking to draw on this from elsewhere. It means that they are important enough in their life. That's how they look at it. They see it that they are important. And that's what it is. They're wanting to get that emotional validation from you. What you need to do is stop the communication. All right, stop trying to justify yourself, because this is triggering enough that you have to justify yourself to a lie. That isn't true. This thing didn't happen. But they're getting you to say it did. They're getting you to believe that it does. And this is the damage. This is the damage that lasts for years after the narcissist is gone. You have to stop trying to communicate and justify yourself to this person, because this is going to cause damage to you. Stop telling how you feel, because they're not listening. They don't care. But each time that you say it, it initiates an emotional response from you. So when they go and they come back, when they have gone, you're building up your boundaries, you're working on yourself, all right? You've got that headspace, that time to work through this, and you're building up your boundaries, your strength, and they come back. Because they will, my friends, they will come back. Every time you have a communication, every time they come for you, what they are trying, and every time you say, no, I don't want to, I don't want to, they don't take that as a no. They keep coming back. Because what they're doing is they're weakening your boundaries. It's like they're pecking at them all the time. They're working at them every single time. Because when they're coming back, what they're looking for is that emotional validation, that emotional response. So every time that they leave, it leaves you a little bit weaker. So they are psychically attacking you all the time, because then you're thinking, but what about this? But what about that? What about this? You're trying to work it out. Even though they're not there, they're still doing this. And they keep coming back, you know, all the time with these attacks. Until you feel so weakened, you want to understand what's going on. Of course, they're never going to tell you. That you allow them back in. Or they're able to get there and get that emotional response. They win. Temporarily. So what you must remember is not to reveal any emotion, because they will take that as validation. And you must stop communicating with this person. You have to block. This person knows no bounds. They can play the long game because they don't care. They've got time. This is about power. This is about winning. You've got to remember that you are more powerful and that you're in control here. Don't let someone else take control. Don't let someone else do this to you. Stand strong and don't give out any emotional information. If you are someone who is going through this, please know that I do offer one-to-one consultations, and if you would like one, please see the description box below. I also offer a mentorship program that is starting in the new year, and if you are interested, please see the description box below. I also got the journal club. If you are someone who is going through counseling or therapy, this is a great tool to use alongside that. Again, see the description box below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope this video has helped, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.